Tengu, sorry. Tengu, sorry. Tengu, sorry. Echovald Wilds. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, let us review and talk about everything that we have seen in the new Echovald Wilds preview, which is a preview for the Friday stream that ArenaNet will be doing, where they're going to be in-game taking us through a small tour of Echovald Wilds, probably not the entire map, but maybe just like a portion of it. As a preview, they dropped a trailer. So let's watch it. I've watched it many times. I'm going to take you kind of play by play throughout the trailer and we will discuss. So first and foremost, it's a splash page of a lovely cathedral, of what seems to be a ruin of a cathedral with some water, just like setting the tone. We have Echovald Wilds map preview. Every single trailer, we have seen a sky scale flying across the map in a very similar fashion, just kind of flat, just going across. Maybe it's to show the scale of the map. You know, it's in the name Sky Scale. Who knows? But it seems to be a lovely tradition so far. And then we see a small transition into a group of, I almost said players. We'll get to there in a moment. A group of NPCs walking through a hall, through a door frame, through a threshold, if you will. And it's looking good. It's looking nice. We continue on, and then we see some more taglines for the wilds. Once petrified and lifeless. So, of course, this was the Echovald Forest, which was petrified upon Shiro Tagachi's death wail. Just and just, you know, petrification. Here in this shot, we see a little bit more throughout the trailer life, a little bit more vegetation. And, of course, we have, in this specific shot, some extra models of what appear to be Kirin. And also maybe some Rottweilos, which is nice to see, you know. And then we quickly transition. They said, no, we already covered Skiffs and Xingzhe. You've had enough of that. Let's talk about this individual. Warden, Juggernaut. I've been hearing the two terms. I'm not entirely certain what this is, if it is a Warden or a Juggernaut. All I know is that they are, excuse my French, badass, super cool, and the antlers, the helm piece looks like a very heavy helm, but honestly, it looks so cool, and I would love to see that be an earnable reward. Maybe this is some sort of field boss. Is this a strike mission boss, perhaps? I would love to have just the giant wooden antlers, and maybe even a shoulder piece with that beautiful, almost corruption-esque. Not exactly sure. They appear to be juggernauts or wardens, and they look so cool. They look so cool. I would love to see, of course, a little bit of variation, maybe another model for the Juggernaut and the Warden. But there is a lot of models that have been worked on. We'll get to that in a moment, hopefully soon here. And then, okay, yeah, here we are. We have this beautiful scenic shot of a bridge with people were quick to point out there's a wall in the upper portion of this shot with some waterfalls, but most importantly, Tengu. Yes. Oh yes, we have our first, well, technically the first glimpse of the Tengu in this trailer was when the NPCs were walking through the threshold. But here we actually get to see a spotlight on that. I believe it was like the dove, a water dove, Tengu that was modeled after. We saw this in the Bladesworn trailer. That was kind of our first look at a new Tengu model. There are so many Tengu models here, but we will get to that in a moment. I might even collect them and post them all, the different variations. I don't believe that this is either a Canthan symbol. This could just be like a specific cool symbol that we have yet to see, or it's not actually a part of the written language. But I'm mostly talking about the symbols in the background on the banners. There's a whole lot else going on with this shot that we can dissect. But my eye went straight to those banners. I was like, oh, is this an emblem for a house? Is this an emblem for a faction? Is this an emblem for a guild, a science faction? So there's a lot going on with this shot. We see some data modules in the background. I love that I'm talking about the background and completely ignoring the two characters in the foreground. But we have some action going on in the background with some charts, what appear to be scientific data panels and monitors, of course, the flags. And then we get to the foreground and we see these two characters garbed in what appears to be Quarterian armor. The shoulder pads are very prominent. They, of course, have their scarves. You know, gotta wear protection around scientific equipment. And also in the background, we have these jade pylons. Now, if you remember, back on the official Guild Wars TOE End of Dragons trailer, we had June and her full segment of siphoning the jade out of these crystals, and they were in these capsules that are extremely similar to the ones that we see here today. So I believe that these are kind of what the capsules were. These are the June jade capsules. It does seem that June will be a prominent character and might be leading the House of Science, the scientific house. I'm saying house because like House Zuhelzer, but the scientific faction and initiative. So this could be a branch of June's work and the people working with June. And then we can continue on. And then we say, now a land of growth and decay. So there is this dichotomy with the Echovald wilds, as in nature. You know, you have the lush forests and the vitality of everything. And then you have the rotting side, the decay. Over the years, things die, and then that nourishes the other lands. But here we have some Tengu wielding Tempest weapons. This is still the Dove Tengu. We have a bow, a greatsword, and we have this beautiful tree, this beautiful blossom tree. Looks very nice, very peaceful. And then we have this landscape shot of some rot wallows, I believe. Looking very nice. In the background, we have a tower with a vista on top of it, giving us a sense of scale. I really wonder what this place is going to be. It looks very much like... This has to be a point of interest, A, but also like, is this like an event? Is this a part of like a meta event where you have to activate these pylons? I love the structures with like the pikes at the top of these things. They look very nice. And here we have a shot of a Tengu, which we saw during the Xingje live stream, but we have another model of Tengu ready to be shown off. And this time, this specific Tengu is wearing gauntlets. Heavy armor on the hands, which is something I don't believe we've ever seen before. So this is very nice. But we have the crane Tengu, and then we also have this other Tengu that has like the facial beak that's kind of like going straight up, almost like a mohawk, like half a mohawk. It looks so cool. The armor looks so nice. They almost like look like shoulder pads. So that's already 3 or 4 distinct models in this one trailer, with the dove, with the crane, with this new mohawk face beak, full face beak thing. So it's maybe 3. The 4th one could be the one off to the very left of the bridge that we saw, but that's to be determined. And then we have, of course, the Juggernaut and the person, and it transitions to another portion of the Echovald Wilds where there's this like scientific initiative or engineering initiative of collecting things, of creating scaffolding and construction equipment. Transitions to this very lovely shot of this beautiful architecture, this jade circlet on top of this door, and on the door there is a portal. Now, I don't think that this is a strike mission, because strike mission portals are very unique and distinct. They're the swirly things that we saw in Icebrood Saga, but I don't know why they'd be showing us this. Is this like the passageway to another area? Is this a passageway to the Jade Sea? That could be. Or is this a gateway to the Arborstone? As we know, Arborstone revitalization is going to be a mastery, and Arborstone is a location. It's a locale in Guild Wars 1. So is this kind of like our personal home instance? I don't know. Is this player housing? Who knows? I don't. But it looks very beautiful. It looks almost like ready to be inhabited. Once again, we have no idea what this is. I actually don't know what Arborstone looks like in Guild Wars 1, so I could be woefully wrong. But then again, we have a long passage of time where they might have set up a gate to Arborstone. But once again, I have no reference right now. I just aligned myself with Kurzik in Guild Wars 1, so I'm a little bit behind. And then we appear to have this Tengu Settlement. Okay, hold on to your horses, people. We got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, Jade Waypoint. So this will probably be a sanctuary within the wilds, this Tengu outpost. So we have the dove. We have the water dove, the water duck. Boom. In the background, we have a crane. Boom. In the background beyond that, kind of like to the left of the waypoint, we have another model with more classic Tengu plumage that we saw in Heart of Thorns. And then we see a little glimpse of a white Tengu, but we'll get to that. There's a clearer shot at the very end here. A transition. Okay, there's a lot of Tengu going on. We'll have a whole discussion of the Tengu after this. We're going through some more scientific people. Plasma weapons, cool. And then another Tengu model. This beautiful, very feminine-esque, sleek. A lot of the Tengu have been somewhat more masculine, though you can argue that the Tengu facial models might not differ between their sexes. And in terms of this specific model, it does kind of lean a little bit more towards that feminine, that softer facial structure, which we really haven't explored with the Tengu yet, which is beautiful to see. It's so good. It's so good. New facial features, new facial structures, plumage, feathers, coloring. The armor on this Tengu is very medium armor with the bow. They're even wearing a glove. So not only are we seeing the gauntlets on the Tengu, we're seeing this medium armor glove. We've seen a little bit of the shoulder plating, a little bit here and there. It looks so beautiful. And in the background of this, we have, of course, that facial beak Tengu in the background, but also to the left of that in the background, we see another variation, which appears to be a very like sharp beak with some plumage, which is a little bit different, I believe, than the crane. I don't think that this one is the crane one. It's almost like a very sharp toothpick, which the crane did have, but the crane also had two aligning, almost like horns. But this one doesn't appear to have that. It's just kind of like that straight beak, which is beautiful. As you can see also to the very right of the more feminine Tengu, you see the crane. The one in the background does not look to be the same. It has different color variation, it has a different plumage and a different beak. So that is yet two more new ones. So in this one trailer alone, I went Australian there for a second, we had the dove, the water dove. We can talk about the ones we have here. The water dove, the crane, the new feminine one, the facial beak one, and the one to the left of that, which is like that sleek, very like pinpoint beak. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this one shot alone. Plus all the ones in Heart of Thorns, plus the core ones. There are so many variations of Tengu and their coloring and their patterns and their feathers. We'll have a discussion after this. And then we have this, I want to see this beautiful shot of these two humans, because there is a new facial feature, or a new facial customizations, it appears, and hairstyles with the woman and the man. The hat is also just a great statement piece. I believe this is a new face model for both male and female humans. We see the scientific people, the House of Science. No longer House of Zuhalzer, it's House of Science. Walking through their area. We see some more beautiful architecture, some more monitors. We have Tengu. Okay, in the background of this shot, we see yet another model of Tengu. Some white, fluffy burb Tengu, and they look so cute. Oh my god. Okay, I need a close-up shot of these Tengu. Okay. You can kind of see they almost look like a bat. They are so cute. One of them is facing us. Out of between the arm and the leg of the water duck Tengu, and it's just kind of like standing there with its bow, just white fluff, and it's so many. So it's like 7 models in this one trailer, 7 or 8 models probably. I like to give myself a little bit of leeway, 8 maybe 9. There's maybe a couple things that we didn't see that you would classify as maybe different Tengu features. Oh my, oh me, oh my, and it continues, and there's a lovely fight sequence between some humans, and some of the ritualists, the new ritualist, and then we see a lovely new face on a female with a scar. Really beautiful. Love seeing some more facial variations, of course seeing some damage to the skin, some scarring, but then yeah, it kind of ends, and we see the last little shot of this very awesome juggernaut. Okay, we've been talking a lot. This is gonna be a 20-minute video. Oh my god. Okay, so Tengu. Everyone. The Tengu. We have seen so many variations in the Tengu model, from the face to the coloring to the feathering to the plumage to the beaks, the little tusks next to their beaks. Come on now. Come on, ArenaNet. Don't play with us. Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. I mean, let us play. When I say don't play, I mean let us play Tengu. Tengu are now the most updated non-playable character model in-game. That is a part of the core races of Tyria, like with the Kodan, the Forgotten, the Tengu, the Dwarves. The Dwarves saw a bunch of additions and a bunch of variations with them because they're kind of just shrunken Norn. I believe that's kind of literally behind the scenes. They shrunk Norn to make dwarves. But then with the Tengu, they have a very different rig. They kind of have a similar rig to Char in a way because of their tails and their overall like hunches, but there's slight variation. Now with the Tengu, we have the core Tyrian Tengu, which have some variation in their coloring and their plumage as well. Not as many variations, but there is some. And then during Heart of Thorns, they decided to update the models again. And fan theory, I feel like they almost made Tengu a playable race in Heart of Thorns. Path of Fire, there's no reason to really update Tengu. And then we have End of Dragons. We have seen I would say like 5 to 7 new models, completely new models of Tengu. New faces, more so than Heart of Thorns, entirely new faces, new plumes, new feathers, new armor sets. Armor that is actually being worn now with like the gauntlets, the leather gloves, new leather armor. There is so much variation that I really wonder why ArenaNet as a company has decided to put so much time into modeling and rigging and animating these. And even we saw Tengu with the staff. We've never seen Tengu models with staffs before. Granted, their casting animation could have some work. This expansion is still being developed. Having a little bit of a cleaner casting animation for the Tengu could be done. As we saw with the Xingje livestream, we saw Tengu, the Ritualist Tengu, with the staff casting spells. So we've never seen that before. So they're really adding a lot of things to the Tengu that have never been developed. And I know Tengu are a very prominent race within Kantha, but that being said, Jin are a prominent race in Path of Fire, and they have all like the same models pretty much, just like slight variations in color. And then only when we got to the raids did we see certain Jin have specific model updates when they're like a core named character. So I don't know why they're going to the lengths of adding so many models and updates to Tengu. There's something that would be missing if we could not use these as playable races. And that being said, you know, I would love if we had an entire Tengu mastery, where at the very end, as a lore mastery, Tengu lore mastery, instead of getting the final mastery tier and we can now talk to a merchant, wouldn't it be awesome if we actually got to play as the Tengu? That would do so much service to a Tengu lore mastery track. And honestly would be a great, like, after expansion, something to work on. Or while you're doing the expansion, you really want to just, like, get the Tengu. Or you have to complete the story and then you do the mastery track and then you can play as a Tengu. Something to keep people in the game longer. Honestly, I'm just honestly so excited to see so much love being brought to the Tengu. No matter what, it's lovely that we actually get to explore more of this race, more of this culture, especially in Kantha. For Caladris might be coming along. That will be really lovely. So thank everyone so much for coming by. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave your comments down below about Tengu. Honestly, that's really what we're going to be talking about. But in addition to that, talk about the images and the overall aesthetic of Echovald Wilds that we saw in this trailer. Subscribe, like, comment down below. If you'd like to pre-order End of Dragons, I have links down below. They greatly help me out and I truly appreciate it. And if you'd like to get videos early and some exclusive videos, hit me up on the Patreon and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye everyone!